This is the lesson for Chapter 1, Section 2, the second part of today's lesson, and it talks about how Ed bought a car for $19,055. After 1 year, its value depreciated to 8/10 of its original value. What was the value of the car after 1 year? Well, let's take a look at this word depreciated. Well, right away, if I wasn't sure what that word meant, if I look at the number, that's smaller than 1. So what this tells me is that it's going down. So depreciate means the value is going down. It's going down by, or down to 8/10 of its original value. So if it didn't go down at all, its original value would be the same value after 1 year. But since it's going down to 8/10 of its original value, that means that our answer is going to be a smaller number than this number here, that 19,055. So let's take a look at another word here that's key, this word right here. After the 8/10, this key word here, of, tells me what operation I'm going to end up doing. Whenever they have a number like 8/10, or it could be, if it was going up in value, be like a 2 or a 3, if it doubled or tripled in value. But since it's 8/10 of, that of is going to tell me to multiply. And so notice how they gave me the number here, how much it went down by 8/10, and they said it depreciated to 8/10 of its original value. Well, the original value is this number right here, this 19,055. So really all I'm doing, since they want to know what the value of the car is after 1 year, that's what they're asking for, let's take that 8/10 and we're going to multiply it, use the dot for multiplication, by 19,055. So let's go ahead and do that multiplication. I'm going to rewrite that number, 19,055, and multiplied by 8/10. And so I go ahead and start the multiplication. I get 40, carry the 4. This makes 44 when I add that 4. And this gives me 0 plus 4 makes 4. And I have 72. Carry the 7, and 8 and 1 make 8, plus 7 makes 15. So I move the decimal point just one space over. And again, my number should be smaller than the original number because it went down, it depreciated. And that's what happened here. When I go ahead and rewrite my answer here, it equals $15,244. So that would be our answer. And it makes sense because it's got to have gone down in value. Well, we'll get another chance to practice another problem similar to this, just a little bit different though. It talks about the temperature is decreasing. Okay, decreasing means it's going down. So that helps us think about, does the answer make sense at the end? We know the answer should be going down. It's going down at a rate of, okay, that's a key word again, of 1.5 degrees Fahrenheit per hour. Okay, now I'm going to mainly key in on this, per hour. Whenever I see per hour, what that means is I can go ahead and rewrite this as 1.5 degrees Fahrenheit per means a fraction bar. It means that I'm dividing by hours. Okay, so we've got 1.5 degrees Fahrenheit per hour. Now they're asking, what will the change in temperature be in 4.5 hours? Alright, so what we're going to end up doing is we only have 4 operations. We're either going to add, subtract, multiply, or divide. Well, I cannot do either of these two. The reason I can't is because here I've got different units. You can't add 1.5 degrees Fahrenheit with 4.5 hours because they have different units. It wouldn't give you Fahrenheit, it wouldn't give you hours because they're different units. So my only options are one of these two right here. Now, if you look at it, if we are going to try to find, they wanted us to find the degrees, what we could do is we can multiply by the number of hours. Now watch what happens. Just like when we cross-canceled with fractions, we can cross-cancel with units as well. See, if I wrote 4.5 hours over 1, and that's the fraction form of that, the hours would cross-cancel, and I'm just left with degrees Fahrenheit, which is what I want. And so that's using dimensional analysis to help us figure out what kind of operation we should do to come up with the answer. And we'll go ahead and finish this off this way just to come up with the answer, and I'll give you another clue afterwards. So 1.5, let's go ahead and change that to a improper fraction form. 1 times 2 plus the 1 gives me 3 halves. And then I'm multiplying by 4 times 2 plus 1 gives me 9 halves. And I can go ahead and multiply straight across, gives me 27 fourths. Okay, so now I just do some division to change it back to that improper, that mixed number. 4 into 27 goes 6 times. Do the subtraction, I'm left with 3 left over. So 6 3/4 degrees Fahrenheit would be my exact answer, but they don't want that. See, it says to the nearest whole degree. Whole degree means change it to a whole number. So we would say it's going to be about 7 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, since it went down, we should actually rewrite this instead of just 7 degrees Fahrenheit, because that doesn't tell us whether it went up or down. We should either say down 7 degrees Fahrenheit, or we could say minus 7 degrees Fahrenheit, because this tells us, okay, it went down 7 degrees Fahrenheit. It doesn't mean it's negative 7 degrees Fahrenheit, it just means it went down 7 degrees Fahrenheit. The temperature is decreasing at that rate. Now, thinking of it another way real quick, let's say the temperature, again, is decreasing at a rate of this 1.5 degrees Fahrenheit per hour. So that means that after 1 hour, it's gone down 1.5 degrees Fahrenheit. 2 hours, well, I would have to add another 1.5. So I'd have to do 1.5 plus 1.5. And that would give me 1 plus 1 is 2, plus a half and a half, give me 3 hours, or 3 degrees Fahrenheit. And then after 3 hours, well, that means we'd have to add another 1. So we'd have 3 plus 1.5. So that'd be 4.5 degrees Fahrenheit. And then after 4 hours, then we'd have to add another 1.5. So we are at 4.5 plus 1.5. That gives us 4 plus 1 makes 5. The 2 halves add to make 1, so that gives me 6 degrees Fahrenheit. And then we'd have to say 4.5 degrees. So we'd have to take half of how much it's going up by. So we'd have to do half of 1.5. Remember, of means time. So when I say half of 1 1/2, that means I'm multiplying the 1/2 by 1 1/2. Well, that would require changing this improper fraction, or mixed number, into an improper fraction, and then multiplying. So that gives me 3/4. So that means I really need to add 3/4 to that 6 degrees, and I come up with the same number, 6 3/4. Changing that to the nearest whole degree would be down, again it went down 7 degrees Fahrenheit. So a couple ways to come up with that same answer. We're going to try to work towards, instead of this kind of a method of using kind of logic of what's really going on, what they're asking. It's a great way, but also we're trying to work towards this dimensional analysis method as well, thinking about units canceling out. So those are the types of problems you're going to be dealing with. Mainly the problems are going to be dealing with multiplying of numbers, and so that's what you're looking for. Well, those are the types of problems you'll see on tonight's homework. Good luck.